Have you ever felt the brush of an invisible presence when you were completely alone? A sudden chill across your skin or the faint scent of a perfume you once knew so well, drifting into the air from nowhere? What if these were not coincidences, but whispers from the other side? Since the dawn of time, humanity has asked one question above all others. What happens when we die? And perhaps equally haunting, can the dead return to us? Across cultures, centuries, and continents, people have reported encounters that defy explanation. Visions in dreams, strange synchronicities, or moments where the veil between this world and the next seems to dissolve. These are not merely tales of the superstitious, but deeply human experiences that hint at a profound mystery, that our loved ones may never truly leave us. When the physical body ceases, something endures. Ancient sages called it the soul. Mystics called it spirit. Scientists call it energy. Yet all agree, nothing in existence is ever destroyed, only transformed. And if this is true, then perhaps the dead are not as distant as we imagine. Perhaps they linger, watching, waiting, reaching out in ways subtle enough to be dismissed by the rational mind, but undeniable to the heart. In this video, we are going to journey into that mystery. We'll explore the timeless signs that a deceased loved one is trying to contact you, signs hidden in dreams, nature, synchronicity, and even the very air you breathe. We'll look at what ancient traditions, spiritual philosophies, and mystical teachings have revealed about the thin veil separating the living from the departed. And most importantly, we'll uncover how you can recognize these messages not as random chance, but as a profound form of communication, an eternal language spoken from spirit to soul. So, if you have ever wondered whether the presence you feel in the silence of your room or the whisper in your dreams might truly be your loved one reaching out, stay with me. For what you're about to discover may change the way you see death and life itself. Throughout the corridors of human history, the belief that the dead can reach out to the living is not a fringe idea. It is one of the oldest spiritual truths woven into the fabric of every civilization. In ancient Egypt, the soul was believed to exist in multiple layers: the Ka, the vital essence, and the Ba, the personality that could travel between the worlds of the living and the dead. Priests would perform rituals to ensure the deceased could communicate with their loved ones, often through dreams or symbolic appearances. To the Egyptians, the grave was not a final resting place, but a doorway, a threshold through which messages could flow. In Greece, philosophers like Plato spoke of the soul as eternal, capable of transcending the body and lingering in the realms beyond. The Oracle of Delphi was said to channel not only the voices of gods, but also echoes of the departed. The Greeks knew that memory itself could act as a bridge, keeping the soul tethered to those it once loved. The East offers another perspective. In Hinduism and Buddhism, the cycles of reincarnation suggest that souls may revisit loved ones, sometimes subtly, before moving on. Ancestor veneration in China and Japan reveals an even more intimate bond. Offerings at shrines, whispered prayers, and ritual meals shared with the departed ensure the presence of loved ones continues in daily life. The belief is simple yet profound. When you remember them, they are with you. Even within mystical branches of Christianity, Judaism, and Islam, we find stories of saints, prophets, and ancestors appearing in dreams or visions to guide the living. In Kabbalistic teachings, the soul is said to exist on multiple planes, capable of descending into the world of the living to deliver wisdom. Sufi mystics describe the veil between worlds as a curtain, thin and permeable in moments of love, prayer, and silence. What unites these traditions is not the method, but the message. Death is not an ending, but a transformation. And through that transformation, the bonds of love do not break, they merely change their form.
Like a river that vanishes beneath the earth only to resurface miles away, the presence of the departed flows unseen, re-emerging when we least expect it. But there is also a philosophical key hidden here. The human mind, rational and skeptical, seeks linear cause and effect. Yet the realm of spirit speaks in symbols, synchronicities, and subtleties. Ancient teachings remind us that the universe itself is not merely material. It is a tapestry of visible and invisible threads. To see the signs of a loved one's presence, we must learn to perceive differently, to look not with the eyes of logic, but with the eyes of the soul. As we journey deeper, remember, these signs are not random. They are part of a sacred dialogue, a language as old as humanity itself. And to recognize them is to step into an ancient lineage of seekers who have always known love is stronger than death.
To understand the signs of contact from a deceased loved one, we must first grasp how spirit communicates. Imagine for a moment that our world is a great ocean. We live on the surface, where the waves rise and fall, the physical realm of bodies, time, and matter. But beneath the surface, in the depths, flows a vast and timeless current, the realm of spirit. Those who have passed from the body are not gone. They have simply slipped beneath the surface. Their presence is still there, subtle but powerful, moving in unseen currents that occasionally ripple through our world. So, how do these ripples appear? How do we recognize them? One of the most common ways is through dreams. Dreams are the oldest, most universal channel of spiritual communication. In sleep, our rational defenses are lowered and the soul becomes more receptive. Ancient shamans called dreams the night doorways, where ancestors step through to deliver guidance or reassurance. If you've ever dreamed of a departed loved one and felt their presence as vividly as if they were standing before you, this is no ordinary dream. It is a visitation. Unlike fragmented, confusing dreams, these encounters carry a strange clarity. The loved one may appear radiant, calm, and often communicates with few words, yet the message lingers in your heart for days or years. Another sign is synchronicity, meaningful coincidences that defy logic. You think of your loved one, and suddenly their favorite song plays on the radio. You glance at the clock, and it reads 11:11, a number that held meaning between you. You stumble upon an old photograph at the exact moment you are speaking their name. To the rational mind, these are chance events, but in the language of spirit, synchronicity is the punctuation mark of the unseen world, signaling that something greater is at work. We also find signs in nature itself. Birds landing near your window, butterflies appearing in unexpected places, sudden gusts of wind, or even the gentle flicker of candle flames. Across traditions, these phenomena are regarded as vessels of spirit communication. Native American elders spoke of the eagle carrying prayers to the sky, while Celtic lore told of the wren as a messenger from the other world. When the natural world behaves in ways that pierce your attention and stir your heart, consider that it may not be mere chance. It may be the soul of your loved one reaching across the veil. And then there is the sensation of presence, a sudden warmth or chill, the feeling that someone is beside you when you are alone, a pressure on the bed as though someone has sat down, the faint scent of their perfume, or the echo of their laughter when no one else is near. Energy does not vanish when the body dies. It shifts, and often the sensitive among us can perceive its nearness. These are not tricks of imagination. They are the subtle fingerprints of spirit, reminding us that love transcends physical boundaries. But to recognize them requires stillness. Just as a radio must be tuned to the right frequency to pick up a broadcast, so too must our awareness be attuned to the subtle currents of spirit. In this first part of our exploration, we see that the signs are already all around us, in our dreams, in synchronicities, in the movements of nature, and in the quiet touch of presence.
They are not intrusions from the outside, but gentle nudges reminding us of a deeper truth. The dead are not gone. They are whispering, waiting, reminding us to listen with the heart, not the ears.
If the first signs of contact are whispers, the next ones are echoes, moments that grow louder, more undeniable, as though spirit insists that we pay attention. These are the signs that often leave people astonished, even shaken, because they pierce through the ordinary flow of life and reveal something far greater at work. One such sign is technology behaving strangely. Throughout history, mystics have taught that spirits manipulate energy to communicate. In our modern world, energy flows most tangibly through electricity. Many who grieve report lights flickering when they speak of their loved one, televisions or radios turning on by themselves, or phones receiving mysterious calls with no one on the line. While skeptics dismiss these as malfunctions, the pattern is too ancient to ignore. Long before electricity, people experienced candles flaring, hearth fires crackling, or bells ringing at the moment of spirit contact. The medium has changed, but the message is the same. The departed are capable of bending energy to make their nearness known. Another powerful sign is found in music and sound. Music has always been considered the language of the soul. Plato called it a bridge to the divine. Often, a particular song tied to a memory with your loved one will arise at just the right moment, as though orchestrated by unseen hands. Sometimes it is not a song, but a whisper, a name called when no one is present, or the faintest sound of footsteps in an empty room. In mystical traditions, these are described as auditory visitations, subtle reminders that the bond of sound continues even when words cannot. There are also the symbols and numbers, the language of archetype and pattern. The departed often communicate through repeating numbers, such as 111, 333, or 777, which appear on clocks, receipts, or license plates at meaningful moments. Numbers carry vibrational resonance, and when they repeat, they are amplifiers of a message. Similarly, certain objects may appear repeatedly. A coin found in strange places, feathers appearing on your path, or even animals crossing your way with unusual persistence. In esoteric traditions, these are not accidents, but oracles, small mirrors through which the invisible makes itself seen. Yet perhaps the most profound form of contact is direct guidance. An intuitive nudge, a sudden clarity, or an inner voice that feels distinctly not your own. You may be contemplating a difficult choice and suddenly feel a wave of calm, as though your loved one's wisdom has settled into your heart. Sometimes the message is subtle, a shift in emotion. Other times it is unmistakable, a sentence spoken clearly in your mind. Throughout mystical writings, this phenomenon is called inspiration, meaning literally to breathe into. It is the spirit breathing into your awareness. Now, it is important to recognize that these signs are not always obvious, nor are they uniform. One person may dream vividly of their loved one, while another only feels a brush of presence in the wind. Some may experience clear synchronicities, others none at all. The departed choose the channels that best fit both their nature and yours. Think of it like tuning instruments in an orchestra. Each soul finds its resonance with the living through the means most harmonious to both. And yet there is one thread uniting all these experiences: love. These signs are not given to frighten or confuse, but to comfort, to guide, and to remind us of the eternal bond that cannot be severed by death. Love, after all, is the only force capable of bridging two worlds. So when the clock flashes the same number again, when a song emerges from silence, when a butterfly lingers at your window, or when the air thickens with a presence you cannot explain, remember this: you are not imagining, you are receiving. You are listening to the eternal language of love spoken from beyond the veil. The mysteries of spirit are beautiful to contemplate, but they are not meant to remain abstract. They are invitations, gentle beckonings to engage with the unseen world. If we wish to recognize when a deceased loved one is reaching out, we must prepare ourselves to listen, to notice, and to honor the dialogue.
The first step is cultivating stillness. Our modern lives are filled with noise, constant screens, endless chatter, unrelenting distractions. Spirit, however, rarely shouts, it whispers. To perceive these whispers, create moments of silence. This could be through meditation, prayer, or simply sitting quietly with your breath. Even 5 minutes a day of intentional stillness can shift your awareness, opening you to the subtle signs that might otherwise be drowned out by the noise of life. Next, practice keeping a journal of signs and dreams. When you awaken from a dream of your loved one, write it down immediately, no matter how fragmented. Over time, you may notice patterns, recurring symbols, repeated messages, or even subtle predictions that later prove true. Do the same with synchronicities. Record the songs, numbers, or unusual encounters that remind you of your loved one. The act of writing not only preserves these experiences, but also signals to spirit that you are paying attention, inviting more communication. Another powerful technique is creating a sacred space of connection. This can be as simple as a small altar with a photograph, a candle, and an object that belonged to your loved one. By lighting the candle, speaking their name, or offering a silent thought, you create a symbolic bridge between worlds. Ancient traditions across the globe have always used sacred spaces for communion with the departed, and the same principle holds true today. You may also wish to ask directly. Before sleep, speak to your loved one in your mind or aloud. If you are near, please visit me in a dream. Or during meditation, hold a question in your heart and invite their guidance. While the answer may not come immediately, the intention itself opens a doorway. Remember, spirit respects free will. By consciously inviting their presence, you grant permission for the bond to reveal itself. There will, of course, be challenges. Doubt may creep in. What if I'm imagining this? The rational mind resists what it cannot measure. In such moments, recall that love itself cannot be measured, yet it shapes our entire lives. Treat these experiences not as proofs in a laboratory, but as sacred gifts felt with the heart rather than analyzed with the intellect. Fear is another obstacle. Some people worry that opening themselves to spirit will invite something dark. Here, intention is everything. When your intention is rooted in love and guided by remembrance, you are not opening a door to chaos, you are opening a window to light. If you ever feel uncertain, surround yourself with protective practices. Say a prayer, visualize yourself bathed in golden light, or call upon whatever divine presence you trust. Spirit communication is safest when anchored in love, reverence, and gratitude. Finally, practice gratitude and acknowledgement. When a sign comes, pause and say thank you. When a dream visitation moves you, whisper your appreciation. This simple act strengthens the bond, affirming that the message has been received. Just as a conversation flourishes when both voices are heard, so too does the dialogue with the departed deepen when gratitude completes the circle. By cultivating stillness, recording your experiences, creating sacred space, inviting contact, and practicing gratitude, you transform the mysterious into the meaningful. What was once dismissed as coincidence becomes a conversation. What seemed like imagination becomes intimacy. And in that moment, you begin to understand. Death is not silence, but a different kind of speech, one that requires a listening heart. We began with a question as old as humanity itself. Can our loved ones truly reach us after death? And along this journey, we have uncovered that the answer, whispered across cultures and echoed through countless personal experiences, is yes. The signs are everywhere, woven into dreams that feel more real than waking life, stitched into synchronicities that seem orchestrated by unseen hands, carried on the wings of butterflies, the flicker of lights, the resonance of numbers, and the gentle weight of presence. They are not random. They are reminders that love does not die, it transforms, crossing boundaries of flesh and time to continue its dialogue with us. From the ancient Egyptians who spoke of the Ba returning in dreams to the mystics who described the soul as a current flowing between worlds, humanity has always known the veil is thin and the bonds of love are eternal. What changes is not the relationship itself, but the way it speaks. To hear it, we must learn to listen with more than our ears. We must listen with the soul. So the next time you awaken from a dream with their smile still imprinted on your heart, the next time a song plays at just the right moment, the next time you feel a presence in the silence of your room, pause, breathe, remember, for you are not alone. You are in conversation with eternity. And perhaps that is the greatest truth of all. Death is not the end of the story, but a turning of the page. And if you read carefully, you will find that love writes between the lines, whispering across the veil, reminding you, always, that it endures. So ask yourself this: are you willing to listen?